Hey guys, so I'm gonna continue on with my film festival reviews with a more classic, well, a classic film now, North by Northwest. And I don't think I really need to explain to you much about this movie. I'm sure you've all heard of it. It's one of Alfred Hitchcock's most famous, if not his most famous film. And it's essentially about a man, I forget his name, and very early on, he finds himself framed for a murder. And bam, just like that, everyone's on to him. He's not safe. And he's kind of travelling on the down low and trying not to get caught out by anyone. And he hasn't done anything wrong. But he soon finds himself involved in all these spy secrets and things he really shouldn't be involved in at all. And he starts to wonder how and figure out how he fits into the mix of all of this. And I'm not going to say anything more because this really is a fantastic thriller, which is simple with the, plot I just gave you, but it's pulled off in that way that only Alfred Hitchcock could. And I haven't seen many of Alfred Hitchcock's films. I think I've only seen 3, 4 of them. And this is one that, very simple premise. But it just never insults your intelligence at all. It has enough clever quips here and there that make this something more and make it more intelligent. It easily could have just been like, this is stupid, this will keep the audience entertained, eh? But no, it's more like, hey, our audience is smarter than this. We can make it more intelligent. Make it a rewarding watch. And it is. What can I say? It's just done in that way. And no matter how this movie is marketed to you, don't be fooled, this is actually definitely more of an action movie than it is a thriller. And just to see this film in early August on the big screen was a real treat, because this is basically your older equivalent of the standard Hollywood action blockbuster, which is always released in the winter. But it's just super well done. It's really what the winter blockbusters should be. Those action fear movies that we all slam down our money to pay for a ticket to see, to get the action, in the winter, to see a big, grand, high-scale action blockbuster. But it's done in that way that delivers more, and it's just really, really well pulled off. And not to mention that with that, it has to be, and it is, very entertaining. An ever so simple plot, as I've said before, but it just sucked me in from the very first scene. It does not muck about with any, setups. No, boom, straight into the story. And by the end, it becomes something just much more than simple. And it just left me leaning in on the edge of my seat, dangling, just leaning in closer by each minute. Especially with that climax. And the chemistry between the two main leads, just great. It's very believable, and that's what was needed between the two characters. The relationship needed to feel authentic, believable, and it is. It's not rushed at all. It's just done. The acting makes the relationship and chemistry very fluid and believable. And that was important, vital even, to the story. And my last compliment, the cinematography is just beautiful. How this movie is shot and directed is amazingly well done and just super impressive. This film is an example of how Alfred Hitchcock is just truly a master of his craft. It is proof here in North by Northwest of that statement. But I'm going to get into my one big problem. The one problem I had with this movie was the pacing. The film is quite long, as it is. It's got a runtime of 2 hours and 16 minutes. And I could definitely feel it. It just dragged on. And I felt like I was in the cinema, well, longer than I wanted to be. Even though every scene was played out great, especially the climax. Wow, what a climax. I was just kind of sitting there, well, waiting for it to end. I wanted to check my watch throughout the film, but I also couldn't bring myself to because I was just too immersed in the movie. But I really could feel my bum getting numb, and it's really evident in this middle portion of the movie especially. Now, maybe that's because I was sitting in one of the more confined seats in the cinema. There was limited leg room and I didn't have, room to move about. But I swear I've had experiences where I've seen 3-hour movies in the cinema where still they have that little slump where it gets a bit, of course, it's 3 hours. But I was thoroughly entertained and it kind of moved along more fluidly. But this just had these really weird, really heavy pacing issues. But to wrap things up, the one sentence review, North by Northwest is an excellent film and a true classic that should be revisited or first experienced as a reminder of the tension and entertainment level that winter blockbusters should contain. I really can't give this film anything but a 5 out of 5. It really is something that we should see more often, but you sure as hell aren't gonna see again anytime soon. So, if you haven't seen North by Northwest, you really should check it out. It was my first time seeing it, and I'm glad I saw it the way I did. So, until next time, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, I'm Thomas, and that's a review.